If you want to start commuting to work by bike, then you only really need two things. Number one, you're going to need a bike, and number two, you're going to need a job. Well, that was a quick video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Cool, so I'm ready to go then, yeah?
Yeah, enjoy.
All right, brilliant.
Okay, so that's not exactly the whole story. Any old bike will get you to work and back, but if it's something you want to do every day and really enjoy it, then you might want to start thinking about some of the things that could get in the way of that. For starters, if this is your first time commuting by bike, it can be tempting to think you can do it in the exact same way that you might have done in the car, but that could lead you to some really busy roads and junctions and could not be very fun at all. Not to mention the fact it could seem quite a lot hillier because, funnily enough, again, the roads don't bite quite so much when you're in the car and your work clothes could get quite sweaty. Sooner or later it's going to rain. It always does, and that's going to wreck your work outfit, especially your shoes if you're splashing through puddles. And watch out for the road spray. That's going to go up the back of your shirt or jacket. At least it might cool you down though. And all that rain is likely to wash all sorts of muck onto the road, bits of broken glass, thorns, all ready and waiting to work their way into your tyre. You did pack a toolkit, right? So it didn't go well then?
No, not so much. I reckon there's a few improvements we can make here.
So if you were going to step up your commute, what would you change?
I think I'd change pretty much everything. So let's supercharge this commute, shall we? You ready?
I'm ready.
Ta-da! Now, if I was going to commute to work every day by bike, this is the kind of get-up I would be wearing. What do you think?
I like it. Looks good to me. Well, this is an interesting looking bike here, Dave. Want to talk us through it?
Yeah, so this is a BMC Alpenchallenge AMP AL Sport Hybrid. And bikes like this, like sport hybrids, are really popular. They're kind of sort of in the sweet spot between being fast and being comfortable. So you see a lot of them about on the streets on your commute.
Dave, you haven't mentioned it's an e-bike.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned it's an e-bike. It's an e-bike. Yes, this is I love an e-bike, I do. I commute to work on a hybrid e-bike, a lot like this, every day.
People are going to say you're cheating.
And people do say that I'm cheating a lot, especially other cyclists. And what I normally say is, cheating at what? Going to work? I mean, I'm not getting a medal when I get there, am I?
Sounds like it gets you going a bit, Dave.
Yeah, it does a bit. I mean, there's this notion in the UK that any type of trip by bicycle is some kind of race, and it's rooted in the fact that there's not really a cycling transport culture in the UK. So racing is a lot of people's only frame of reference. I mean, the lack of kind of good infrastructure for safe cycling, and by that I mean slow cycling really, means that the people that commute by bike are often quite a self-selecting bunch. So they're predominantly fit and they're predominantly male. They like to mix it with traffic.
So people like you then, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I can't change what I am. I mean, I am a racing cyclist after all, albeit not a very good one. But the great thing about a bike like this is that if you want to, you can just roll into work in like full all-weather get-up like this with your work clothes underneath without breaking a sweat. You can use the motor. And then on a nice day, you know, you can turn the assistance down, you can put on some sportier stuff, you can get on a longer loop to work, and then you can change when you get there. It's really versatile.
So let's take a quick dive into what you're getting with this bike. It's using Shimano 105 road transmissions, so 11 sprockets at the back there and a single chainring at the front. If you look to the back, it's an 1134 cassette, so quite a good range of gears.
Yeah, quite a good range of gears, and also, of course, you've got a motor at the front, this Step 6100 motor from Shimano that's putting out 60 newton meters of torque, so that will get you up pretty much anything, even around here where some of the hills are pretty steep.
True, and I've noticed you've chopped and changed quite a few things on the bike though, so it's not exactly as it comes out of the box, is it?
Yeah, I've changed a few things. So the first thing is the tyres. I mean, you don't want to be changing a puncture on your commute. And I've swapped out the tyres for these Pannier Tour Guard Plus. They have a really thick puncture strip inside them, so you'd have to be pretty unlucky to get a puncture on your way in.
You would, but I assume you always do carry a small toolkit in case that luck runs out.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I normally just carry inner tube and some tyre levers and a tool, so that'll fix, you know, if one of your tyres goes down or something works loose, you're good to go. And I've got an SKS pump on the bike here as well to help me get back on my way.
And of course, you've got mudguards.
I have. No commuting bike should be without them. These SKS ones are pretty good actually. They're quite long. If I was commuting in really bad weather, I'd probably think about putting a longer flap on the front one just to stop the spray hitting my shoes on the way in.
Good idea. Anything else?
Yeah, well, I've changed the saddle out for this Selly San Marco speed. That's just one I get on with, so it's good for whether I've got padded shorts on or not. I've got hip lock for when I get to work. I need to secure my bike, and we're still in light season at the moment, so I've got a Cat Eye AMP 500 on the front here and a little blinky Cat Eye on the back there too. And also, I've got a light on the back of this Giro helmet here that will help me get seen as well.
Love that. Well, that's our bike all sorted, but what about kit? As with bikes, there's a plethora of clothing options out there, so it is really worth considering what your commute looks like, what you're going to be riding, how far it is, how hilly, and what the weather's doing, because that'll all make such a difference to what you choose to wear.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I ride a hybrid e-bike like this on my ride to work every day, and although it's not very far, it's only a couple of miles, it's up a really big hill at the end of the day. So, you know, if you're wearing normal clothes, tend to get a bit sweaty. Once you've got a motor though, that's not really an issue. So if it's sunny, if it's nice, I just tend to wear my normal work clothes. It's not like I have a particularly strong dress code anyway. And then if your commute is flatter, then civvies are probably an option for you. Most of the time it's nice.
But it's not always nice though, is it,
No,
sadly? But it is amazing how often you do make it to work in the dry throughout the year, I think. Especially if you've got flexible working hours. And I always think it's incredible how you can just wait 10 minutes sometimes, and it can be the difference between an absolute soaking and getting there in sunshine.
That's definitely true. But obviously, sometimes it's just miserable out, isn't it? And you have to deal with it. I mean, there's various ways of doing that. If it's warm and wet, then you can just wear less and then change at work if that's an option. I tend to go the other way. I tend to layer up with some full waterproofs. I mean, once you're on an e-bike, because you're not getting sweaty, it's not so much of an issue. So something like this Altura hard shell jacket, these waterproof over trousers, ideal for that kind of thing. And if it's really miserable, I tend to put on some waterproof boots as well, just in case, but always good to have a change of socks.
Yeah, I'm in the position at the moment, as I'm sure a lot of people are, that I don't really have a commute to work as such because I'm largely working from home. But what I do like to do is get a local loop in, because it's so good for headspace, exercise, and just a bit of fresh air in the day.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'm sure that's true for a lot of people, and once we get back to normal, whatever that looks like, I mean, the commute is something that people can use to keep fit, and obviously if you've got the option to shower at work, it's a really time-efficient way of getting some exercise.
And you're probably going to want to wear something a bit different for that.
Yeah, something a bit lighter and a bit sportier probably, something a bit like this. Ta-da!
So you haven't gone full race kit then, not a skin suit quite?
No, if you're riding a road bike, then you know full lycra is an option, and sometimes that's what I do if I was doing a long training ride before work. For a bike like this, it's overkill. What you need, something that's comfortable for when you're working a little bit harder, and kit like this is ideal.
And I see you've gone for clipless pedals there.
Yeah, well, I've kind of gone halfway. So these Look Geo Trekking pedals have an SPD side for these shoes and also a flat side for your normal shoes. So whatever you're wearing, you're sorted, and that's great for a bike like this where you're doing lots of different types of journey.
Yeah, that versatility is brilliant actually. And before you were wearing normal clothes under your over trousers,
Yep.
Have you padded up this time?
I have, yeah. So these Altura tights have got a pad in them. It's pretty comfy. You can wear them on their own. I've gone with a pair of baggies over the top. These are waterproof, and so is the Altura Night Vision top. So I'm sorted for a bit of rain here. If it was warmer, then I'd probably just wear the tights and the jersey that I'm wearing. A bit like this. Like that. So that's for when it's a bit drier, and then when it gets warmer you could change to some baggy shorts or some bibs if you wanted, a short sleeve jersey. There are lots of options. If you're working a bit harder, it's good to have a lid that's a bit better ventilated as well. This Bell Avenue is really good for that, and it's still got an LED in the back for a bit of extra visibility.
In terms of carrying your work stuff, I've noticed you've not opted for a pannier. Are you going to go for a rucksack?
Yeah, I normally use a rucksack on my commute. The reason for that is because I carry a laptop, and I feel that in a rucksack it's a bit more isolated against kind of the lumps and bumps along the way. So this Altura rucksack has a laptop sleeve in the back, it's really good, and also this roll top closure means it's great for all weather commuting. It's really good.
A lot of people do go for pannier though, don't they? Because it puts the weight essentially on the bike and not you, and avoids a really sweaty back.
Yeah, and there are other options too. So panniers are really good. Obviously you can carry a lot more in them, so more than the rucksack and a double set of panniers, and you can go further than that as well. I mean, I've got a box trailer that I put on the back of my bike for going to Sainsbury's and getting the shopping. If I'm carrying a lot of stuff, then I'll sometimes use that, and you can also get messenger bags if your place of work is a little bit more professional than mine. That's maybe a better look.
And lastly, let's touch on routing. When you're commuting by bike for the first time, especially if you've switched from doing that journey in the car, it can be really tempting to just do the route as you would in the car, but actually that's not always the best option by bike.
No, absolutely not. So if you're switching from the car, then you've probably chosen the fastest route in terms of fast roads, and those aren't often much fun to ride on. And also, your speed on the bike is more often dictated by your legs, not the speed on the road. So quieter routes can often be just as quick.
I really like to use a mapping app. Something like Commute is really good, and it's amazing how many local roads I'm still discovering. And in terms of your commute, it's actually a really good way to try out different options and find out what works best for you and those quieter roads as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the time when I'm commuting into work, I'm just on autopilot really, but it is really nice to be able to find different routes, and it really freshens things up, and it's great for doing like a longer stint in before work too.
And I can see that you've got a phone on the bike then.
Yeah, so I'm using this SKS Compit system here. You put your phone in there so you can get your turn-by-turn directions on Commute on there, and it's also got a waterproof cover and a touch screen, so you can carry on using your phone in your ride.
Perfect. Dave, thank you. I think that's about everything. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, click like and subscribe to find out when we post more content here at road.cc. See you next time.